Good morning, everybody. Enter the stars. And we are so close to finding the ultimate truth. I want to recommend this video. There are no forests on flat Earth. Wake up. What you're looking at is a cross-section of a flax stalk. And you're seeing that this person is comparing the various stalks or seeming stalks around the earth. Flat mesa surfaces with columns of hexagonal beams squashed together, just like the stalk, And this is simply amazing, because I believe now that we have another very specific piece to the puzzle, that these stalks that are coming up out of the earth, coated in a skin just like the skin inside of the flax stalk, I believe that these were all hyaloid canals, conduits to heaven. And this is just simply amazing, because this was the missing piece to the puzzle. And I told you guys before that there were these structures around the earth, which is what you're seeing on your screen, coming up out of the ground. They look like stumps, as this YouTuber describes here. They look like stumps, except they're all cut off. Now, we talked about this lens here in the eye, and then when you cut right through the center, just like this, you get a cross-section of a honeycomb matrix. We also talked about the different areas around the earth. The Devil's Postpile in Mammoth and Giant's Causeway in Scotland, and how these large hexagonal features were coming up out of the ground, confirming the cross-section theory of the earth here, that this convex lens is where we live. We also told you about the dome being the firmament, and that this was depicted in the Hunger Games, when Katniss shoots her arrow, her arc, with a string attached to it, the hyaloid canal, into the firmament dome, which is all hexagonal. Just exactly what you're seeing on your screen on the left. And I will put a link in the description for that video that you're watching. And we understand that when you do a cross-section of the rods and cones that line this inner eye here, it also looks like a hexagonal honeycomb matrix. And this is the prison, you guys. But it goes even deeper, because you're wondering, why are they all cut off? As this gentleman is demonstrating in this video, why are all these stumps cut off? And I believe that it is because we have been cut off from heaven, because we've fallen into sin. And these may have even been the conduits by which we had access to heaven before the fall of man. Jack and the Beanstalk comes to mind, a knockoff story of a giant and a conduit to the heavens. Now, this is amazing, because I don't think anyone's ever looked at this before, you guys. But this gentleman helped me put some more of the puzzle pieces together. Now, this is huge, because it mimics birth. This hyaloid canal is the umbilical cord. And just like the umbilical cord in the womb for the child, this hyaloid canal disappears after birth. It falls away because its only purpose in vitro, or in the womb, was to feed the lens and develop the lens of the fetus inside the womb. And once the fetus is born, this disappears and only a remnant is left. And some people see that as floaters. So you see, we are now seeing more pieces to the puzzle. And the kingdom of heaven is within. We look inside to find the answers. And that's why this hyaloid canal is going from the outside to the inside. This is the narrow gate. This is the Red Sea. This is the wilderness. This is the flood. And over again, God was trying to show us the truth. And here we see the side-by-side that this YouTuber puts together for us that so effectively shows that these, in fact, do look like tree stumps. And on your right, you're looking at the rings of certain trees that seem to resemble the honeycomb matrix that we've been talking about. Were these conduits to heaven? Was this the fall of man? Possibly the angels at the gate guarding the garden. Was this an ancient forest of trees going to heaven? These are the questions that will become clear in the coming days as we continue to try to fight to find the truth. Why do we fight to find the truth? Why are we so relentless in our search? Because we know deep down in our heart that we've been lied to. We know we've been lied to. And we know that the truth is out there. And the controllers of this world do not want us to find it. We know who rules this realm. We know who rules this realm. And therefore we know that there are other answers and other ways for us to find the truth, if only we want it bad enough, if only we seek it. Now, what is the hyaloid canal? And how does that fit in with what we're talking about? Well, I'm going to show you. This is the hyaloid canal, the narrow gate. And 40 days and 40 nights was the flood, and 40 years the Israelites were in the wilderness, and 40 days Jesus was in the wilderness. And I believe this is the wilderness here. The child in the womb for 40 weeks. It all fits together, you guys. He was trying to show us the truth. The hyaloid artery is a branch of the ophthalmic artery, which is itself a branch of the internal carotid artery. It is even calling it a branch, like a tree. It is contained within the optic stalk. That's like Jack and the Beanstalk, the stalk of the eye. The branches extend from the optic disc through the vitreous humor to the lens. The optic disc being the back here, and then the lens extending through the vitreous humor through the wilderness. Usually fully regressed before birth. Its purpose is to supply nutrients to the developing lens in the growing fetus. We are born then into sin. It is cut off, just like the images we're seeing around the world. And that is fascinating. During the 10th week of development in humans, the lens grows independent of the blood supply, and the hyaloid artery usually regresses. Its proximal portion remains as the central artery of the retina. The central artery of the retina, through which all vision comes through the central artery of the retina. Regression of the hyaloid artery leaves a clear central zone. This is the narrow gate through the vitreous humor called the hyaloid canal. Occasionally, the artery may not fully regress, resulting in the condition persistent hyaloid artery. More commonly, small remnants of the artery may remain. The remnant of Israel passing through the Red Sea, the remnant of mankind passing through the flood on Noah's Ark, and the remnant of God's seed, Jesus, passing through the wilderness for 40 days. Free remnants can sometimes be seen as floaters. An anterior remnant of the hyaloid artery can be seen in some people as Mittendorf's dot, a small pinpoint-like scar on the posterior surface of the lens. A posterior remnant may be seen where the artery left the optic disc and is known as Burgmeister's papilla. The Burgmeister's papilla is the remnant of the artery left on the optic disc, which looks probably a lot like this. And you can't make this up, you guys. This is the truth. And we will keep our eyes peeled. No pun intended. Take care and be safe, you guys.